Today I'm going to attempt to boost my Parasite SEO rankings on LinkedIn and therefore my affiliate earnings from that page using the power of expired domains. So this is one niche I'm in, and I published a couple of LinkedIn pages which have performed very well, and this has now made nearly $500. Again, only really 10 minutes of work to actually publish those pages. So all I did was I used autoblogging.ai's godlike mode to extract the entities from my competitors. It does that all part of the software, and then produced a basic AI draft, uploaded that to LinkedIn, and then when it ranked, I went through and optimized it with some more images, calls to action, that sort of thing, and the result has been a consistent flow of earnings. However, the problem with LinkedIn Parasite is it is very short-lived. So this is the page that performed. So we're still getting 2,500 traffic per month, but just a few days ago, we were getting 9,000 visitors per month. So we're now up to the 9th of February, whereas before it was the 1st of February that we hit the peak. So if we look at the overall keyword rankings, it's still doing well. It's not plummeting, but of course most of your traffic is all decided by the top 3 rankings in Google. So just because my overall keyword positioning is doing okay, even the 1 to 3 spots is doing pretty well, but you'll probably find a couple of key keywords have slipped from being at number 1, 2, 3 down to 4, 5, 6, maybe even page 2, and that can have significant impact on your earnings. That's why anytime I start with a new client, I always like to look at what they're already ranking for, because the chances are if they're making money on the page that's at the bottom of page 1, they can exponentially grow those profits if they can just push that page up to the top 3, because position 1 gets double the traffic position 2, that gets double the traffic position 3, and so on. It's very much a logarithmic. The higher you climb, the faster you grow. So that's why anytime we start with a new client, it's very much about existing pages. So optimize the content if it isn't fully optimized already. There's various tools we use to do that, and then hitting it with high quality backlinks. So we perform lots of outreach at scale every week, with an extensive quality screening process where we're negotiating with hundreds of sites every week, but also making sure those sites are good quality. So minimum DR of 30, minimum traffic of 1,000. But where's that traffic actually coming from? Is it good, relevant content, or is it just random keywords all over the world that aren't particularly relevant? And how many other websites are they actually linking out to? If they're going to link out to anyone and everyone, then the power from that link is severely reduced. So that's an extensive screening process, which means we reject 99% of potential links. That's why we do all this mass outreach every week, and then whittle it down to just a few key placements that really make the difference for our clients. So that's how we get results like this. This client started with us a year ago, 10 backlinks a month. They're already up to a DR of 30. Remember, DR is heavily influenced by how many other websites those linking pages link out to. So if you're getting links from these websites that aren't linking out to 50,000 other websites, then your DR will increase quicker. And the traffic up to 30,000, and we can see really steep growth just in the last year. But let's get away from that survivorship bias. I know you're tired of case studies that only focus on the winners. This is a brand new client, so they've been established for quite a while, so you can see they're getting some traffic. Their domain rating hovering around 4, 3, and then down to 1, and you can see how flat their referring domains are. So again, this was a mix of content and links from us. And you can see a very clear correlation where as soon as they started with us in November, traffic went up significantly and in line with the backlinks as well. So there's a very clear correlation there. So this is still early days. Normally it does take 3 to 6 months to see results. So what we're seeing is as we get further and further, that growth chart is actually getting steeper. So this brand has got big things to come. If you would also like to get your business unstuck and also have great things to look forward to, then go to SEOJesus.com, click on the Ranking Revelations newsletter, and you can sign up absolutely free there for my latest insights that don't go on YouTube. Plus we also have the apply button here. We are generally quite full, but you're welcome to apply and reserve your place in the waiting list. And if we think you're a good fit, we can boost you up that waiting list sooner. So back to the task in hand. I'm no longer in the top 3 for this keyword, and therefore I'm getting a quarter of my previous traffic. And I want to try and reverse this decline for Parasite SEO purposes in order to get earning again on this affiliate program. So for that, I need a good quality expired domain. One place you can get those is Odis Global. I actually represent Odis Global. You can sign up with my link below. If you go to Mentors, you'll find I have handpicked some of their domains, and I'm listed alongside quite a few big names here. Almost gives me imposter syndrome, but I seem to be worthy apparently. So there I am there. But my relationship with Odis actually began a long time ago, purely as a customer. I've spent more than $20,000 on domains with Odis, and today we're going to be using this domain that I bought in August end of August 2021. So I've had this domain nearly 3 years now, and at the time I spent $2,160 on it, and unfortunately I just haven't really done anything with it. This is back when I was doing very well promoting AI copywriting software in the first wave of online content writers like Conversion AI that became Jarvis, then Jasper, and various other products, where at one point I was making $5,000 per month promoting these products. So I thought I'm going to try and dominate this emerging market, and that's why I bought this particular AI-related domain name. Now, you may be wondering, why have I spent so much on these expired domain names? What is the point of an expired domain name? Well, the point is basically these metrics here. So yes, you can register a fresh domain for $10, as we all have when starting a website, but Google obviously ranks you based on how many other websites link to you, and going out and getting those backlinks is really hard work. As I said, in my agency, we do it at scale, but it took a long time to build up to that point, and even then, it still costs a lot to actually build those links, because they are so valuable. However, an expired domain, on the other hand, if you imagine either maybe a festival that comes and goes, maybe a conference where the domain name was Tech Conference 2022, they did loads of publicity and PR, and then just left the domain to expire because they didn't need the 2022 one anymore. Or more commonly, if a company gets acquired or goes bankrupt, no one actually thinks to renew the domain name because they're not SEOs. They don't know the value of those domains. And what is the value of that domain? Basically, in this particular case, we've got 147 backlinks pointing at this domain name, which has given it a domain rating, how powerful the domain is, of 29. Now, I showed you in my previous case study that client who, after a year with us, has got up to 30. So you can start on a fresh domain and invest in a link building agency like mine to get your DR up so you can compete. But a really big shortcut is actually to just buy a domain name that already has that power from its past life and work done on it at the time. So in this case, this particular AI-related domain name, for whatever reason, went out of business. But in that time, they acquired 150 referring domains, so 800 links from 150 websites, giving it a domain rating of 29. And those links are all relevant to this particular topic of AI. Now, this is never as good as building high-quality backlinks to your own pages, but it's definitely a hell of a shortcut and can be very useful for purposes like this, where we just want to throw as much power as possible at this one LinkedIn page. So there are other videos on my channel about expired domains if you're not already familiar, but basically you can buy them and rebuild them, so put your website on an expired domain name, or you can simply redirect them so that these 150 links from other websites go to wherever you want them, your website or your Parasite page, rather than the website that was there before. So there's a slight loss of power there because Google can see this link is now being redirected from one place to another. Most people say it loses maybe 20% of its power, but generally there's still a lot of power there. And generally, even though these domains are expensive, it's much cheaper than conducting an actual outreach campaign. However, such as life, things got in the way. I didn't really invest and focus enough on that actual domain, so I haven't really done anything with it. That changes today. I am now going to redirect this $2,000 domain name onto my LinkedIn Parasite page to try and get it up to the top 3, where I know I might be able to get ROI, because I know this page is perfectly capable of making $1,000 per month, because in just 1 week at the end of January, it did $270. So I reckon with all that power from a $2,000 domain name, this is the kind of power that no other pages on LinkedIn are going to have. No one's really building high quality backlinks to their LinkedIn Pulse articles. I've already done a money robot blast, so loads of information on that on my channel. Basically low quality automated backlinks using money robots on a virtual private server. Those are spammy low quality links you don't want to use on website, but you can slam them at a LinkedIn page, no problem at all. And I'm also using CTR Booster, which is basically a robot that searches my keywords, clicks on my results, try and push them higher up the Google ranking. So if I log into my virtual private server, we can see one of those set up here. So this is Money Robot, where I've got my best crypto trading bot article, keyword to rank for best crypto trading bot, and then an automatic article created using spin tags. So that's going to be distributed across this blog network, all with relatively unique content just through basic spun text. So we can start that campaign. So you can see all my past campaigns here. This just goes through and creates all these Web 2.0 blogs, social bookmarking sites, and that's just all automated running in the background on my server. Then we also have CTR Booster here, where I put in my LinkedIn Pulse article URL. I use the custom geolocation feature with a long list of US-based latitudes and longitudes, and then a long list of in this case, personal injury lawyer SEO keywords from Ahrefs. So I'm generally running these at about 50 visitors per day to my listing. So I've gone into my expired domain on Namecheap, the one I've had for 3 years and not actually used very well. Now, it's a good point to actually warm up a domain name. If you get an aged domain, then it's a good idea to put content on it, turn it into a real website so that Google can basically re-acknowledge it, re-index all the links. And therefore, when you perform the redirect, Google can see this is a legitimate change of one website moving to another website rather than this old domain name that's suddenly being revived. Now, there's 2 ways you can do this. At the moment, it's pointing at my Namecheap web hosting. So because of that, it's telling me to go into cPanel and configure a redirect there. But in my case, I think I'm actually just going to switch to the basic DNS, and then that allows me to do a registrar-based redirect, which can be a bit limiting in some circumstances. Some people don't recommend it, but it's nice and easy for these purposes. So you can do that, but for the purpose of this tutorial, let's do the cPanel version, in which case we'll ignore this. So log into your cPanel and come down to where you've got domains and then redirects. I can now just choose my domain to redirect. Bear in mind, I bought this domain from Odys and then once I've transferred it to my Namecheap account, I changed the DNS to point at my Namecheap web hosting on cPanel. So that's why I have access to this domain and can control it from this hosting. If I was still just using the basic Namecheap hosting, then I would just do the registrar redirect. So we want to do a permanent 301 redirect. I found my domain. We're not redirecting a specific URL or page, so that's fine. And then redirects to, we can add in my LinkedIn page. We're going to go with redirect with or without www. And I probably will do the wildcard redirect. I've messed this up so many times before where I've redirected the domain and actually I've only redirected the home page, which therefore means that while the majority of an expired domain's links will generally be to the home page, there can be some subpages which have some power, and you might well find that those subpages with that power are not redirecting correctly. Now, it can take a bit of time for the DNS to update and for that redirect to actually show up on your machine, so we can always check in incognito. So I put in the old domain and it's been redirected perfectly fine. So over the next few days, we should start to see these referring domains and page level backlinks to the specific LinkedIn article start to increase, with all those redirected links from the expired domain. What remains to be discovered is what impact that has on the traffic. Is this a sustainable way to actually boost up LinkedIn pages? Bear in mind, we're in this constant battle where it's basically keyword cannibalization. If you're in a niche and then someone else starts publishing content on LinkedIn in your same niche, it's quite likely that they'll snipe you out of position, because generally Google doesn't want to show too many pages, ideally no more than 1 page per domain. So if one person's in your niche on LinkedIn and you might have sniped them out of the way in one case, but then they can always come back, or someone else can come back and then snipe you out of the way again. So I reckon the way to get around that is page level authority, which basically means more backlinks. But what I don't want to do is build my usual high quality backlinks to a LinkedIn page when we're talking $200 or so per link. And one of the strategies for LinkedIn Parasite is actually to keep loading the same content, so you always get that freshness bonus. It seems like if you publish a LinkedIn page for about a week or so, you get an unnatural advantage because of fresh content. So the tests I want to do are, can I get that same benefit just by rewriting and refreshing a page, or does it need to be a new page? And as part of that, that's why I'm using this aged domain strategy, because I can always take those domains back and redirect them to a new LinkedIn page. Whereas if I've done all this outreach and built 50 backlinks to a page, then I've got to stick with that URL. I cannot redirect that LinkedIn page to a new one. Whereas expired domains, I can control exactly where they redirect to. I think that can be a really good strategy. So for the results of this experiment, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment below if you've got any questions, and we'll see if we can get these earnings back up again.